Welcome back to The Vocalist. Today we are finally diving into the song What's Up by Four Non Blondes. Here we go.
25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination. I realized quickly when I knew I should that the world was made up of this brotherhood of man, for whatever that means. Into a crisis times when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out what's in my head. And I am feeling a little peculiar. And so I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I scream from the top of my lungs, what's going on? And I say,
Oh my goodness. It's been a minute. I feel like I hear this song all the time, but I don't know the last time I heard the original. Or perhaps you hear enough covers and you sort of think the song is supposed to sound a certain way, and then hearing the original version, I'm reminded of how brilliant Linda Perry is as a vocalist. She can do so much. So we're gonna talk about it. Here we go. Right out the gate, the latter part of this phrase, when we hear the press in her sound and that lowered soft palate and everything feels like it's really driving forward, that is what I remember most about this song. And I forget that at the very onset, she uses so much warmth in her sound. And it's brilliant because it's just such a great way to make sure the voice, and not even just the voice, making sure that like your vocal production is stable, allowing more separation in the chords, monitoring your breath pressure. All of that can happen with far more ease when you're not really pushing into it and you're not trying to create a ton of sound. And so embracing, she's got a gorgeous warmth to her voice. There's a lot of depth and richness to her voice, but just backing off the pressure a little bit at the very beginning is brilliant as she sort of gets into the song. Not just, in a studio recording, but in a live performance. That's such a great tactic.
25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination.
Even when she says of, we get an additional articulation, like an added glottal onset.
Life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope.
Like there's an added articulation there, and I don't feel like I hear that whenever I hear covers of this song. It's always very smooth and connected. And so that it's just one of the reasons, well, part of the reason, I don't even know how to say it. Songs become popular because of nuance like this. I mean, yes, melody and effect, there's so much that goes into it, but they become more powerful, they might stand out more, they become special to people because of detail. And a lot of that, it's like when you play the game Telephone, and by the end of the round, the phrase that started is usually not the phrase that people end with. And so in the same way, we've heard so many different reiterations of this song by incredible artists, but I'm realizing that it sort of lost its sparkle along the way for me, and that's why I'm really happy to be listening to the original.
Trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination. I realized quickly when I knew I should that the world was made up of this brotherhood of man.
The way she says world.
I realized quickly when I knew I should that the world was made up.
It's, oh golly, what is happening there?
I realized quickly when I knew I should that the world was made up of.
It's almost like a combination of vibrato and an added oscillation. I don't know if in the music there's some sort of turn there, but that's an interesting sound.
Realized quickly when I knew I should that the world was made up of this brotherhood of man, for whatever that means.
Pronunciation is also a key factor to just what makes this song so special. I'm really enjoying this. She alternates quite a bit between full adduction and incorporating a little bit of separation or texture, which again, I feel like that gets lost so often when I hear covers of this song.
Into a crisis, times when I'm lying in bed.
This is something that I think is really important. When she goes up the first time to cry, well, really every time she ascends into her head voice, it is a very light head voice. Oftentimes, I'm used to hearing this cover with a lot more press in the chords and a lot more sort of ping in the head voice, and she doesn't do that at all. It is so relaxed, it is so effortless, and it's so light, and that provides more contrast as she descends and goes back into that chest sound.
Into a crisis, times when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out what's in my head. And I am feeling a little peculiar. And so I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I scream from the top of my lungs, what's going on?
Now, based off of, I know this is, a music video and they're singing to a track, but it almost seemed like she was being goofy or sarcastic or getting into a character.
And I am feeling a little peculiar. And so I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high.
Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe she was singing that in earnest. But the sound itself it felt imitative of something a little bit more classical with that added height in the vowel. I don't know if that was intentional or what.
Outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I scream from the top of my lungs, what's going on?
And there, not as much texture as I was anticipating. Golly, this is so interesting.
And I say,
like she's got this back pressure that's just ready to go at, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Like at will. Basically, just whenever she needs to access it, it's there. Because there's always so much power in every single line, every single word, even though there's a lot of separation between each one, or sometimes between each phrase.
And I pray, oh my God, do I pray? I pray every single day for revolution into a crisis times when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out what's in my head. And I am feeling a little peculiar. Into a wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I scream from the top of my lungs, what's going on?
So good. Oh my gosh. I want to play that again. Those intervals. It's not that they're difficult, but I think the challenge is being so precise and like hitting the center of the pitch when you're constantly jumping and you don't have this stepwise motion melody. And so that's why, I feel like this song sort of catches singers off guard because we've heard it so many times and you get ready to sing it, whether it's in your practice or at karaoke or something like that. But that's when you recognize, oh, I really have to sort of fine tune where each of these notes is going to land in my voice and how much mix, how much chest, how much head voice I'm incorporating, because one false move or the wrong amount of breath pressure, and that's when you get some less than desirable intonation. So, I mean, I just can't get over how brilliant this is not even considering. I mean, it's just brilliant. And this is the sort of song that I think could have flown under the radar when it came out. As with any song, you just never know, but I'm glad it didn't because there's so much to dissect and so much to appreciate with her vocals, with this melodic line. It's good.
Get it all out what's in my head and I am feeling a little peculiar. Into a wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I scream from the top of my lungs, what's going on? And I say, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on?
Now here, let me back it up into this last, I think it's the last time, I don't remember. Maybe because we're used to hearing head voice versus chest voice, my mind naturally went to texture, but there isn't a ton of texture here. It's so powerful when she's doing this chest mix here and she didn't go into head voice like she did the first time, but it's such a clear, crisp sound. My memory is, I don't know, maybe I've just heard too many covers. I wouldn't have thought I would have forgotten so much.
And I scream from the top of my lungs, what's going on? And I say, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on? And I say, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, 25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination.
This is why it's important to revisit songs, because I just completely forgot how brilliant the writing is, the melody, but her vocals, that is just not what I had in my mind. That we had like one section at the very end where there was a lot of texture, but I think I've just heard so many other singers do this and incorporate so much more texture that I don't know. I really love, I was going to say the simplicity. There's nothing simple about this, but in comparison to just sort of what my mind was prepared for in terms of texture, I like that it wasn't there. Like, this song is just, it's just completely different in my mind now that I've sort of reflected on that. I think that's it for today. I mean, recap, incredible intonation with regards to the intervals in this song, the shifts between head voice and mix and chest, the inclusion of texture at times, but more so in terms of warmth and breathiness in that lower range. I mean, there's just a lot of really good stuff happening. So I will be listening to it some more in my future. But that is it for today. Thank you guys so much for this recommendation and for watching with me, and hopefully I will see you next time.